I personally even experienced watching public execution. I was only 11 around. The policeman came from, so the first bullets, it went into the eyes. The second 3 bullets went into the belly button, while the third was on knee.
When I was 9 years old, I saw my friend's mother publicly executed. Her crime, watching a Hollywood movie.
What if I tell you, there is a political party who is ruling a country from last 76 years since the country got independence, even though other political party exist in the country? Yes, you guessed it right. I am talking about North Korea. When you hear about or think of North Korea, I am sure 2 questions must be going in your mind, because these 2 questions even today strike in my mind. Number 1, like any other country, why the people of North Korea do not rebel? Even after knowing that the biggest colonial power or dictatorship has been thrown by the people. But why not in North Korea? 2, there are so many powerful country and international organization who work for liberty and human rights. But why all these failed or not even tried when it comes to North Korea? In the end of the video you will also know, is there any chance North Korea being a democratic country? If yes, how? But before answering these 2 questions, let me clear what I said in the beginning of the video. Yes, North Korea had been led by only one political party called Korean Workers' Party, KWP. In fact, only one family. Actually, North Korea and South Korea was a single peninsula under Japanese colonial rule. Unified Korea got independence on August 15, 1945, when World War was almost ended. And then Unified Korea split into 2 countries, South Korea and North Korea, due to consequences of 2 superpower, the Union Soviet and the America. How and why? This can be an entire separate video. Comment down below. I will cover that in upcoming videos. After the split, in North Workers' Party of Korea came into power under the leadership of President Kim Il-sung. He started his dictatorial style of ruling was president until he died in 1994, and then his son Kim Jong-il became supreme leader and was president till the date of his demise due to heart attack in 2011, and now the current supreme leader Kim Jong-un is grandson of Kim Il-sung and son of Kim Jong-il. This is how North Korea till today. North Korea is under the rule of a single family. Now let's get back to our first question. Why do people of North Korea do not rebel? It is because the people of Korea had lost one of the most valuable time to rebel. Let me explain how. Today, it is almost impossible for the people of Korea to go against the Korean government because each and every activity of the general people is eyed on. Every sound and movement is eyed by officers and now technology.
Tommy as younger was, don't even whisper, because the birds and mice could hear you.
When I was 4 years old, I was warned by my mother not to even whisper. The birds and mice couldn't hear me.
It has most extreme censorship anywhere in the world. All media is state-controlled. There is no internet access except small number of elite personalities. No one dare to do it alone because again it will lead to nothing, and there is no way of mass protest to be coordinated as other country because of non-existence of platform like Twitter or other way to convey message publicly or communicate.
And of course you have no phones. And even there are available few phones, those are the elite who can use, but you are only allowed to call within the country, and messages and calls are tapped. There is no internet, no YouTube, no Facebook, no Zoom.
The things do not stop here. Another reason is brutal and family punishment. A small boy was brought to stadium and officers started to fire continuously, and as expected the boy died on the spot. The only mistake of that boy is listening Korean pop music. This is how people get punished publicly in order to keep them in extreme fear. So that revolting is far away, they even can't think of doing whatever they like, from eating to listening, everything is get decided by the government.
You do not own yourself in North Korea. You are owned by the state. Regime decides what we read, what we watch, what we listen to, how we even dance. They control how you move your body. You do not have freedom for your haircut even.
If someone caught doing anything offensive to the state, not only that people will be punished, but the entire family have to pay for that, may be sent in labor camp or death penalty. This prevents people not even think of doing any suspicious activity at all.
Expressing doubt about the greatness of the regime can get 3 generations of a family imprisoned or executed.
But it is not that simple, As I mentioned, Korean people had lost the perfect time to revolt because today no one want to rebel as they do not know or want freedom. Here is why: the state effort to relentless indoctrination and constant brainwashing from their childhood. Today, every child from their childhood and from their primary education, they are taught how to be loyal citizens. During primary education, every child has to sing about their supreme leader. They are taught how hardworking their supreme leaders are. Sang Jeon, a lady who escaped from North Korea, said that how constantly she was taught that Kim Jong-il, how hard he works. He works so hard that he sleeps in the car and just eats rice balls. On his desk there are piles and piles of reports that he has to read and approve. He works so hard for us, the people.
To me, where I did not even know that I was slave. We don't know the concept of human rights. We don't know the concept of freedom. And that's how they can control our thinking.
The things get next level when the Kims are presented as divine being, and yes, you heard it right. It revolves around Kim Il-sung, portrayed as an anti-Japanese revolutionary hero and founding father who remains North Korea's eternal president more than 2 decades after his death. His son, Kim Jong-il, was, according to North Korean myth, born on a sacred mountain, under a bright star at night. In reality, he was born in Siberia.
When you were growing up, what was your relationship or feelings towards the Kim family?
I thought they were God because I was brainwashed. My father said, no, he's not died. He lives in our heart forever as eternal leader. But this brainwashed and education and indoctrination, that is something very, very scary.
Just imagine which level of cognitive power of North Korean people has been killed. Their whole schooling is based on this simple principle: we are one nation implies that you can't rebel against your father, you can't rebel about your government, that it's important to stick together. So when was the right time? It was when the first dictator came into power, Kim Il-sung. The moment when he started the dictatorial style of practice, people would have revolted at that time.
So I understood, for the first time, the price of silence. And North Korea didn't become that way in one day, because the people who were in there, in the system, were scared and they did not speak up.
Now let's get back to our second question. Why the whole world is just sitting, especially the superpower nation and powerful international organization? First, let's understand how a powerful country punish any other country if that country is doing something wrong in perspective of human rights, environment, or something else. So, countries go with economic sanctions against that country. For example, when Russia-Ukraine war started, we all know US started economic sanction by not buying oil from Russia and requested other countries to do the same, but it is not possible in North Korea because North Korea is closed economy and does not do international trade much except very small amount with its neighbor and allies China and Russia. Okay, economically it is not possible. What about the physical invasion by international organization like United Nations? We all know it is the war that every country wants to avoid, and due to the nuclear power North Korea has, which can ruin the peace of the world in a moment. But most importantly, why do United Nations failed for this? You have understand how United Nations military works. For military, United Nations Security Council is responsible, but before sending military it need to be approved by its permanent members. But in the case North Korea, most of the time the discussion get ended even before it start due to the China and Russia veto power. So, is there any way for North Korea to gain democracy? Well, there are a few possibilities. First, when Kim family declare themselves to end all forms of totalitarian, which is almost impossible. Second, we all know North Korea is now one of the poorest country and there is famine and starvation.
All we are thinking every single second is, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. How do I eat? My grandmother died from malnutrition. My uncle died from starvation.
And I have seen many kids died of starvation on the streets.
If these problems, including other economic problems, get out of control, and the whole economy get crashed so badly that the state will have no option than asking help badly from other nations and international organization, then the international organization definitely will put some conditions, and this can make the situation better most probably. Third, and which hold the highest possibility. We all know this man and we say there is problem because of him and his style to rule right. But the entire nation and every sector is possible being scrutinized by this man. There is his closed ones to whom he trusts the most and handed the important sectors to look after. But due to the bad conditions in the state, if all these people who are looking the important sector will manage to unite and go against this man, then the things can change.